please. Okay, but then just, is it the same? Can every other person hear?
I can
Joy says
actually
she
hear
can
you
hear clearly.
clearly.
Oh, Toby says clearly. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, because I had to restart my device and looked at it. Okay, thank you guys. So let's proceed. If you have any concerns during the course of the program, we'll make the necessary adjustments. But then once again, you're welcome tonight. Very productive night it always is, right? And tonight would be quite a productive one, right? I'm sure you came with your questions as regards the CFA. Make this count for you, like I always say, right? For everyone on this call. If you know someone who ought to be on this call, please drop on the group, your class group, or folks, your colleagues, office groups, tell them to join this call. The information we have here, very, very important. So I'll begin right now with introductions of our guests. We'll take on the interview, ask them the interview questions, say a few things about the CFA exams and of course New Frontiers. Then we take your question and answers, and then we'll call it a wrap for tonight, right? Always a beautiful time. Yeah, I'm sure this is being recorded. Obafemi is on top of that, I'm sure. So this session is clearly being recorded, I believe, and being streamed on YouTube as well. Okay, all right, guys. So let's get started. So I like to start by introducing our guests. So let me start by talking about Ms. Awa Yaro is a fixed income trader with solid experience in trading, the capital markets, financial analysis, and treasury customer management. She's currently the head of bonds trading, GTB Nigeria Limited. She was a previous data analyst and information security officer in GTB Nigeria Limited. She has a first-class degree in information technology management for business from Keele University, England, and she is now a CFA Level 2 candidate. Welcome, Howard. How are you tonight?
Good
Is that one
evening.
coming up?
Thank you
Hi,
so
good
much for
evening.
having me. Thank you
You're
so
welcome,
much.
Howard. And thank
It's
you
an
for
honor.
agreeing to do this for us. You're welcome. Okay, and of course, Oluwatobiloba is a financial analyst. He currently works with the Treasury Group at Keystone Bank in the capacity of a liquidity manager, as well as balance sheet and balance sheet risk management, right? He has a second-class upper degree in microbiology from the University of Ilorin. Has completed the level 1 and level 2 of the CFA exams in one trial, scoring above the 90th percentile at both levels. And I proudly say, at New Frontiers Learning Center. All right, so thank you very much. Welcome to Biloba.
Thank you, AY.
Yeah. Okay, so you're welcome tonight. And again, like I said, if um, the session starts right now, we'll take a few questions from them. I'll make a short presentation, then we'll take your question and answers. But during the course of the program, please feel free to drop your chat so that we can pick them along the way, right? Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, I think we are not able to spotlight our yet. Please, Obafemi, as soon as that is possible, please let's get that done so that she can join us in the room. I know she's here right now and listening, but we'll be able to get that in. Okay, so let's move on. So, Toby, let's start with you. And my question is always, the first thing I always ask is that, I mean, why finance? Why finance for you? What's the reason? Why are you pursuing this journey? Why are you on this journey? Why is it finance and why is it the CFA designation?
Okay. Uh, First, but I knew I was not going to work in that field. I think it was in my 300 level when I got to 300 level,
You're breaking. Or is it me?
and I was doing my COS. Yeah, that was when I could just. I have always been interested in finance, particularly I could call it trader in a way because I trade
Okay.
stock on my own personal level. So I know, okay, that is the line I want to go into. So at some point, I started researching how can I become better in this line, or how do I how can I take designation? And then I researched.
Okay. Okay. I think your network was breaking for some part, and really people wanted to hear that part. I mean, I'm always very interested in that part. So are you able to take a look at the network? Maybe you can switch source or something.
Okay, let me confirm what is wrong with my network.
Yeah, thank you very much. That would be good.
Let's see if that.
Hello, how are you there while to be set? Hello, how are
Yes,
you there?
I'm here. I'm here,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, are you finally able to turn on your videos? Are you back in? Are you still on the road?
I can't for now, just audio. Yes, almost
Oh,
there.
that's fine. Oh, sorry. Well done. Thank you very much. Thank you. I can imagine. All right. So, I mean, tell me, so why finance and why CFA for you? Oh,
So for me, really, finance has always been an affinity of mine. Growing
mm,
up, my mother was a banker and a chartered accountant, so she worked
mm,
in a merchant bank. And then I always used to intern during my summer holidays at her office.
mm,
And most of my cousins that had companies, I was always in charge of the finances, even at my house.
mm,
I'm always in charge of finances. So, going into banking, going into GT Bank from the tech space, I've sure
mm,
found my way back to Treasury. So I guess it was something that was meant to be. And I
mm,
thought, I'm in Treasury, I'm in bonds trading straight away, bonds and
mm,
sales. Why not refine my knowledge of finance? Because I had
mm,
that street knowledge at first, working in
mm,
treasury based on experience and trading. But then I
mm,
wanted something that was a degree, but something higher. And I came across CFA, which is a
mm,
holistic overview of finance. It covers everything, and it gives you opportunity to diversify. If it's trading, if it's risk, if it's corporate finance is portfolio management. The options
mm.
were there, and that was why I chose to embark on this journey.
Absolutely. I mean, thank you very much. And I mean, that's a good capture. The CFA program is an holistic program. It's about the most robust out there, right? People don't get on this program because of people who get on this program don't think about cost. They just get set their mind on the value that they derive from earning the CFA charter. It's tremendous, and I know it's been quite a worthwhile journey for you. I like how you talked about having had street knowledge. You felt it was important to have professional, properly packaged, well arranged knowledge, right? These things are called, there's a reason why it's called a body of knowledge. It's because some people have looked at it and said, when you understand this, right, you become a professional at handling investments, right? Your money and other people's money. So clearly, thank you very much. That was a good one, and I liked the background story from your family, how you're in charge of finances at home, how your parents played a role in the decisions that you make for your career. That's a beautiful one. Thank you very much. Okay, Toby, I believe you're probably back now. You've helped to the network. I'd like to hear your part. You are coming from a different world. You are from microbiology. You're muted, Toby. You're coming from the sciences. Yeah, you need to unmute, Toby. Hello, Toby. Can you hear us? You need to unmute your micro. Okay. I guess it's still sorting out, having a bit of technical issues there. Okay, but while we do that, how I want to dive in straight, right? And I want to ask you level one. What was level one like for you? I want to find out what your biggest memories were, right, for level one. What would you say were your biggest memories from when you decided, from when you thought about writing the exams to when you decided to write, to when you started reading on your own, to when you came to class, to when you scheduled your exams, to, to when you saw your results, right? And you knew you had passed level one. To those times we were afraid you were not going to pass and all those kind of. What were your biggest memories at level one? Oh,
Oh, okay. When you ask this question, it was like a movie just passed through my eyes in fast
uh,
forward because it was a journey. I started my classes in January. So first of all, when I decided to take on the CFA journey, I knew it was a Herculean task. I knew it needed CFA is a jealous exam. It needed time and dedication. And given the kind of job I have that I work sometimes as late as 11 p.m. I'm on different projects, Treasury and GT Bank, playing on different roles. I knew it was a tough call. So I had to just do New Frontiers. And funny enough, my boss had harassed me for a while, for like 2 years. I was the only one on my desk doing handling, trading, and sales. So I never had time to do any self-development. But my same boss always harassed me to start CFA. And he said, you know what? You should attend New Frontiers. He used to teach there. So I just said that whenever I'm ready, I'll start that. And I applied. I started classes journey. I'd say one of my biggest memory with my CFA level one journey was attending New Frontier School. I always tell people, it was a family for me. I always looked forward to weekends. It never seemed as if, oh, I'm going to school, I'm not having a life. I was looking forward to those weekends being in class. I have friends that are friends forever now that we met in New Frontiers. The instructors were so super nice, super friendly, and the facilitators, you guys, there's nothing like I can compare. You were always there. You would have those personal conversations with everybody. You would check up on us in class. The schedule, everything was, everybody was accommodating and friendly. So I looked forward to those classes. And one thing I made sure of was paying attention in class because honestly, I tell people that is over 50% of your work, especially somebody as busy as me, when you don't have enough time to study because that curriculum is bulky. So classes really cut down your study. For me, it did about 70% of the work. Honestly, I paid attention in class and I paid attention to tips that the instructors always give you. They give you pointers. Sometimes they're like, like I remember in FSA, the lady that taught us, they mentioned like DuPont. There's no how it won't come out. So okay, I have to know DuPont. And that connects to other equations that makes it easier to understand things. So, and I focused on concepts. I know one of my biggest memory, I always tell people that I'm here for the knowledge, not just to pass. I need to be able to connect this to real world. This is my life. This is where I work. I don't just want to know the answer and then I go and they ask me and I don't know what theory to apply, what formula. I need to understand. And to be honest, that is really what the exam is testing. It's concepts. Most of it is concepts. Even you might know a formula, but then you see a question, if you don't understand the concept behind it, you wouldn't know which formula to apply. So that was the summary of level one. And then in terms of study, I know there's a lot of videos, Schweizer, Wiley, all those other summarized one. I know it is tough. I know it takes a lot of time and dedication, but you see that curriculum, those materials, that ecosystem, there's a reason why CFA put them there. And what I did was after classes, in May, I had a lot of work till July, so I registered for November. Time is also of the essence. You need to know how your schedule is, the kind of person you are, and pace yourself. I know I had a lot of projects to work, so I scheduled November, and I took July till September to really kill all my weekends. Every Saturday, Sunday, I was reading, and I read this curriculum all through. And what I did was after that, I just started practice questions. I know one thing that you had told me is that you said you had advised that don't just do practice questions immediately after reading. You won't know what sticks or not. You always told us that in school. It was always communicated. So I made sure I did practice questions after I was done reading. And trust me, you will see things that you knew and what you answered well. And then you now know what you remembered. I remember one of the FSA classes, income taxes. The tutor, Mr. Bumi, had to call me our tax manager because I was even correcting them at some point. But guess what? Out of all my FSA practice questions, I scored 69% taxes. And when I was doing my practice problem, 69% for a topic was low for me because I know we had attended this I was a candidate, so I attended webinars like this. I attended sessions, and I know how it was. Mostly you target 70%. So for me, I was like, okay, I'll target 80. So anything below that 80 practice question was a problem. When I saw 69, I said, God, see how these things work. You think you know, and then after a while you forget. So it helped me. I revised and everything, and I'll say, please be big on revision. Try and cover your LOSs. It's very important. And if you answer something, if you're unsure, go back and check why you answered. And please go back to the curriculum. Even if you use IFT or other materials, go back to the curriculum. It's bulky, but there's reason why it covers everything. If you're able to master the LOS, be comfortable and then know your strengths and weaknesses. One thing that helped me was that the topics where I felt I was a bit weak, I handled them last, and then the ones I was a bit comfortable with, I did them earlier on, so that the weak ones, they're fresh in your mind. And make sure you do your mock exam close to, your exam period. I did my two mocks a week to my exam. I would say at least 2 weeks to your exam. So when you do your mock one, you revise where you failed, where you have strengths and weaknesses. You go through that, then you do your mock two, and make sure you simulate exactly how the exam was. Passing my exam, to be honest, once I left that hall in November, it was like a weight was off my shoulder. I just dropped CFA by the side. I was, it's just a breath of fresh air because I know close to the exam, it was just hanging over my head. My colleague actually remembered my date and helped me check my exam. I just saw the email that I had passed and I was okay with that. One thing I'll say with CFA is that you think you've answered the question, but then your answer is there and it's not that. So I wasn't that confident. Well, opening my results, I saw it reflected the work I had put in. It was when I took a step back that I saw that, okay, I actually put in the work. I dedicated to cover that whole curriculum. I attended every class. If there's something that wasn't clear, I'll bring it to the attention. They're always there to help. And then when I realized I was above almost at the 99th percentile, it reflected the amount of work I put in. So I'd say those are my major memories, and that was my experience for level one.
That was an elaborate. Those were elaborate memories and beautiful. Thank you. So I mean, did you guys hear 99th percentile? And when someone had written and got results about 99th percentile, not 90th, 99th percentile, you still walked out of the exam of feeling not so confident. I mean, this our CFA exam is a very interesting exam, right? So I'm sure you guys picked up something from what Awa said, and I don't want to jump. I'm coming to Toby right now, and thank you very much, Awa, for that elaborate one. And I'm still coming back to you, Awa, but I'm going to Toby next. But before I go to Toby, I need to be sure that my guys on this call are listening to the things you said. So I just need 1 point each from people of something you picked from what Awa said, because essentially the secret of great men are in their stories, right? That's how you find out. The reason why you are here is to hear how someone who had passed before did it. So I need to be sure that you are actually here. So let's see. Let's do a few. I'll continue if I have about 10. I think we're about how many of us on this call right now? I think we're about 50 or more. Yeah. So let's go. So something you picked from what Howard said. Very important. So let it start rolling in. And let's see. Let me see what you picked. Let me see what you had. I mean, that was just my first question tonight. That's not the question I have to come up tonight, but let's see. So what did you pick? That was elaborate. I'm waiting, and you know I'm very patient. I can wait. I can wait till tomorrow. I can wait very well.
Evening. I think
Yeah,
just
you could just go ahead. I'm listening.
okay, yeah. So just one of the things that she said was how I guess she said she left some of her more difficult things for last. So I guess like just you knowing how to structure like your studying. Because I guess so you can all read everything at once and then maybe revise with the easier ones and then like spend more time and go slower on the more difficult sections that you know would give you issues. So
Yeah.
like you don't just feel good going over stuff that you already know.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I see. Thank you very much for that. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. I mean, and I see someone just summarizing what you just said now says she concentrated on her weak areas last and strong areas first. See, guys, people don't fail exams because they don't read. No, people fail exams because sometimes they read, but because they didn't read strategically. They were not strategic about their reading, right? And that's what you need to pick out tonight. That's the difference between yourself and someone who is self-studying and is not in a community like this. You can't be in a community like this and not have information that others don't have, right? You must get value more than whatever cost it is that is leaving you right now. So thank you very much for that. Akimade says she considered on her weak areas last and strong areas first. Jide Awolaya, Baide is level 2 candidate, and it says that the key thing from what she said was that 50% of the work was already done for her by paying full attention in class. Thank you. Joy says she put in the work. Yeah. One Neka says, I joined a bit late, but she mentioned that you should try and do the mock exam as close to the actual exam as possible. Reflect on your mistakes, cover those areas again. And it's important to go back and cover the curriculum, right? That part about not doing the practice questions immediately. Wow, I didn't know that work. Storing in long-term memory is a big deal. Yes. So there is a retention bias, or sorry, a recency bias when you have just completed questions and you now do end of chapter questions. There is a recency bias that comes with that, right? The way you test retention is that after you have read it, you go and solve the questions 2 or 3 days after, right? And the real success is that just before your exams, you're checking your performance and how much you have been able to retain is really what will help you during the course of the exams. And the thing I like about CFA exams is that it's holistic, right? So if you think you've forgotten something at QM, calm down. You will find it in fixed income while you're studying. All these things will eventually tie up, which is why it's very unlikely that you will forget entirely a whole concept, right? That's very important. Thank you very much, guys, and thank you, Awa, for sharing on that. Toby, I'm sure you're back and your network is great, I believe.
I think the network is fair now. You can hear me
Thank you
clearly.
very much. Thank you very much. I mean, your story is interesting. You are coming from microbiology, right?
Yeah.
And you told me why you said a bit about why it's CFA and all that. What were your biggest memories for level 1 and for level 2? I mean, you are both level 1, you are a level 3 candidate right now. What stood out for you level 1? What stood out for you level 2? Because again, there are different levels and they.
Okay, so Awa has pretty much said everything that is to be said. I'll just touch on some of the things I feel she has not spoken on. So when I came to write the CFA exam, I had heard a lot about how difficult the exam is, and we keep talking about it somewhat overrated. Then I said, okay, let me get the materials for this course, and let me just see how it goes. So I started reading. I sourced for materials from past candidates, and I started reading on my own. So when I started reading on my own, that I knew that, oh boy, this thing is very child's play. So I paid for the exam because that's one thing you should do. You need to pay. When you pay for the exam, you'll be committed and you'll do what needs to be done. So the fact that I started early, when I now, hello,
Yeah, I think we lost Toby there. I think we lost Toby and Mr. Yo. So we'll just give them a few minutes to just get back on.
CFA journey with little or no support of any kind. However, they vow to turn into reality the dream of every CFA candidate earning the CFA charter, irrespective of their backgrounds, finance and non-finance alike. It is this commitment to support our candidates that influences our engagement of a world-class faculty, partnerships, scholarship and discount offers, our online learning management system, and so much more. Our clients' outstanding results across all levels of the exams every year attest to the quality of our top-notch physical and online program in the last 10 years. That's right, we have been impacting the industry for 10 years and have supported about 2,500 professionals in that time space. Register with New Frontiers Learning today.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? I'm so sorry, my network tripped.
Yes, we can hear you now. You're good.
Okay, good. I am so sorry. I apologize. Technical issues here. Okay, good. So where were we? Toby was speaking. I mean, did he drop off too?
Yes, Toby also dropped off.
Oh, wrong timing. Okay, it's fine. So let's move on. Let's go ahead and thank you very much, Obafemi, for keeping the ball rolling. So guys, again, like I said before, you can always drop your questions or your comments on this side, so it's fine. So we've had, I believe we heard a few things about Toby. The moment he joins in, he will be able to connect back again. But I already share a few things, right? You know, on some of these things. And your questions can keep coming. I'll take them with time, but please just drop them. It's very important. Okay, I see Toby trying to connect back. Thank you, Toby.
Hello.
Sorry, you're welcome back.
So do I continue from West Coast?
Please, you should.
Yeah, so I was saying that the fact that I started preparing early gave me some form of leverage because I could try out multiple techniques. Now let me paint a scenario. When I first started preparing for the course, I would wake up in the night. I would wake up in the night, let's say around from 3 to say 6 a.m. to read a bit. And then I noticed that while that was somewhat working, when I get to the office, I'm going to be cranky and I'll be angry at everyone. So I knew I had to change something because that was not working. That was not giving me the kind of results I thought I was going to get from that. So at some point, I started reading during lunch hours at work, and that was also not working. Then I knew that something had to change. So at some point, then I started.
Oh, lost Toby again. Oh, you're already dropping some very serious things. We needed to hear that. I mean, guys, am I correct about that? He was talking about study patterns, right? Was that what he was talking about? Yes. Okay, we'll wait for him. But how did you have study pattern issues? Hello, Howard. Did you have study pattern issues as well? How did you handle it while we wait for Toby?
Yeah, so for me, I knew how my schedule was at the bank. So that was why I said I had joined the class. So I dedicated those weekends to attending classes to cut down my work. And then what I did was eventually after that, I just made sure that I killed weekends because God knows I love my sleep. And that I couldn't even, all this all-nighter, stay up late. I never was able to do that in uni. So what I did was every Saturday, Sunday for those for July, August to September, I had to travel to India for work September, but most of September, I'll wake up and I know that, I'm just studying. You don't have a life. You just need to stay at home and read. I'll be indoors and I'll just read from maybe like 10, 11, because I'll sleep. God knows I'll sleep till 9 a.m. Wake up, read till evening, and you'll be surprised how much you can achieve if you just put that discipline that, what, I'm going to do this. There's no distraction, no hanging out, no friends. I just kept telling myself, why am I doing this thing? I regret it, but like, okay, it's worth it. It's just, it's just a period of time. So everybody I'm sure you can imagine how I felt. Immediately I came out of that exam hall, I was like, thank God I'm done. And I just dropped it by the side because I know it took my life. So you just find what works for you with your schedule. I don't think you should be in a comfortable time. If you know you're not a morning person, don't try and study in the morning. It wouldn't stick. You just be thinking, I'm stressed. Try and find the most comfortable. And then, if you're doing the CFA, you need to understand that you will be depressed, you will be sad, you will regret, you might even want to quit. And I like what Toby said, pay for it. By the time you register and you see that dollars you've paid, you have to do it too. And don't procrastinate. Don't even start changing exam dates. Thank God now dollar is high, $400. You'll be thinking, is it worth it? Because even me, I was in India from September to first week of November actually for a work project. And I was working there Monday to Saturday. At some point, I even had panic attack that I've not even done practice for economics, FSA, QM. Those were my three major topics at the end. And I just said, can I reschedule? But when I saw the dollar, I was like, no. So try and get comfortable time.
Yeah.
And then you need to discipline yourself. This is your life. Like I had said earlier, this is a jealous exam. If you don't do it this way and put in the work, I mean, you can scale through, shortcuts and everything, but you just need to be sure that you do it and you want to pass just one time. And if you don't put in that work, trust me, once you put that work, it reflects in your results. It actually does. So that study time is very key to strategize.
Thank you very much. I mean, so typically it took you about 1 year to prepare. If we get that right. So you were in January to November, if you understand what I mean, right?
Yes.
So you typically took the long shot, right? And so you were not missing classes. 50% of the work you said was covered as a result of going to classes and listening, right? Then you now started. Typically, what you were doing in classes was what you repeated as an individual. Now sitting down, same Saturday, Sunday crackdown, right? Like we always do in class. It was what you were doing as well. Then before work came, and I mean, despite the fact that there was work September, because of what had happened in the first 8, 10 months, 9 months, you were good, right? Good to go. And that sounds typically like what Toby was saying as well. Toby was saying, I heard him say before he dropped off, that he had how do I put it out? He started early. Starting early was very helpful for him. And I think this is something that is important for people. See, I always share a parable or a story with people that, you see, when we're in college and we were told in the university and said, yes, you're in a 4-year program. The minimum number of units is maybe 18 units and the maximum number maybe 24, right? And somebody comes to us and says, see, instead of trying to meet up the number of units, for your minimum requirements to graduate from this university or from this college, why don't you, in 4 years, why don't you spread your program, take the minimum number of units and spread the program across 6 years, right? The immediate response from any sane person would be, what will I then be doing in the university when my mates are long gone, if you understand what I mean? But then many people were not wired that way. They told that route. Of course, they graduated when their colleagues and their mates were graduating, but then with what kind of grades? And sometimes even spend this number of years, thanks to ASU strike if you schooled in Nigeria, thanks to other issues that will have arisen, and of course, maybe extra papers, extra years, and extra semester carryovers and all those funny kind of things, right? So again, it comes down to knowing yourself, right? And aligning yourself to why. And I also mentioned days when she was depressed and sad. And she talked about paying, just like Toby said, just pay for the exams. You wouldn't need any motivation. I mean, I remember the level 3 candidate who had told me then that what he did was that he just did a list of all his family members who were aware that he was writing the CFA exams and just stuck it by the wall. Whatever it is, our message to you is always to find a strong why. Find your strong why, because many times on this journey, you're going to question the reason why you're taking this exam. Your motive will be checked. Your motive will be tested. I can assure you. A friend reached out this week and said he had dropped the ball since 2014. He's ready to come and start. In fact, incidentally, he knows our, right? And I mean, we're happy to help. And there's nothing wrong with that, because again, it's not that he had been failing. No. It's just that he had to attend to life. And beautiful, when you wake up is your morning, right? And this journey is highly individualized. It's an individual journey. You don't make you don't confirm how well you have moved or how far you have moved by how others have, if you understand what I mean by that, right? So it's important to realize that this is important. This is key for you as an individual to know that, hey, this journey is personal. You must find out what works, and we pull off that and help yourself and get the result at the end of the day. That's what you're after. You just want to pass this exam, right? That's what really matters. So thank you very much, Awa, for that. And I'll just take it up to the next exam. I want to ask you, Awa, were there no? So it's a computer-based exam. Do you think is there anything that is peculiar to take note of as regards the technology of the exams? Because again, there's something about putting in so much effort to write an exam and then you are messed up because there were some technical details you weren't aware of, or just some little tips that could have helped, technically speaking. So it's a computer-based exam. Are there any things that you think a level 1 candidate should be aware of, should pay attention to, or something? What do you think?
So I would say that regarding the computer-based part of it, by the time so when I was doing my practice questions at the end, I was using the ecosystem. So that really helped. And what I did was, as I'm answering questions, I look at my average time. So by the time I'm done with a module, when I finish, maybe I'm answering, let's say, long live assets. When I'm done, I see, okay, my correct response is how long did I spend time there? Because I know during classes I paid attention to those tips that, okay, you have just 2 hours 15 minutes for 90 questions, so you divide it and then you make room for things that quickly, those bonus questions that if you see it you're like, CFA, what is this one? And then the ones that you have to solve. So you need to know your average should be within that 1 minute. If you can bring it down to 1 minute or so for some topic areas, and then you compensate. So I was always looking at my average. And what I noticed was at the start that my average time spent on answers that I knew was really lower than maybe 30 seconds or so than the ones that I was feeling. So I knew I had to pay more attention, because maybe those times I'll be thinking, okay, what's this formula? What's this? And I'm wasting time. So really look at your average time spent answering questions. That helps. And then by the time you're using that, you get used to that computer-based environment. And then your mock is very key. Your mock, I tell people, do it close to the exam and do it well, because your mock is literally what will happen on that exam day. And you're watching the timer, you're watching the questions left, you get used to, you don't panic, so you know how to manage your time. And I advise how to manage time. When I say manage time, I mean skip questions that are taking long, answer the bonus ones so you have enough time to ponder. So it's not like, oh, you've spent time wasted and then you haven't done, maybe there were questions that you would have done, but because of time you just skip through, or you just panic. So really watch out for your timer on the ecosystem if you can. We have practice questions at the end of chapter. I think you can do that if you want, but then I think you should do practice questions on the ecosystem that has the timer, so you get used to that computer-based. That's the difference between the computer-based and then the normal, the one at the end of chapter. Yes, and another thing they have is that they have the feature to flag questions, which is very important. I use that a lot. Even some questions, like I said, when I'm doing revision, even if I answer, because I'm not 100% sure that, okay, this is right, I will flag it and come back for revision. It helps me during exams. So that's flagging. When you get into the exam hall, go in as early as you can, watch the tutorial, the video of everything, and become very handy with that. That really helps a lot. You can strike through, how they say, elimination method. You can eliminate some things that the questions are wrong. You can strike them out, and it just makes it clearer to choose between options. So going early as well and watching the demo really helps with that computer-based exam environment.
Okay, thank you very much. So watching the demo, right? Going early, watching the demo, hacking your strong areas, right? Quickly can save you some time, because it's a race for both speed and accuracy. It's not just accuracy. So I mean, what's the point of knowing it, but you can't solve it because you didn't have sufficient time, if you understand what I mean, right? So it's a race for both speed and accuracy, right? So if there's something you know, why spend so much time? You can buy some time from that, and I think that's very profound there, right? Um, you will not I mean, the last thing you want to do is to be struggling, right, with any technicalities, right? So there's nothing technical about, I mean, at level 3, the conversation is even different because again, there's an essay part to the exam. And so I remember candidates telling me about how you have to practice on an external keyboard, right? Because again, the keys are not are not like when you are working on your PC. So somebody says, "Oh, I use a PC every day. I use a laptop every day." No, it's not the same. The experience is not the same, right? And that's why you must test. You must create room for that. What do we call it now? For that um mock exam, right? Towards the end of your study, just before your exams, right? Very important because again, apart from the fact that you are testing concepts and testing what you have retained, that writing those mock exams is actually a test of your mental resilience. You see, to see whether you can actually sit for 5 hours to take an exam, right? While you're combining the race for speed and the race for accuracy and the mastery of concepts, right? So thank you very much, Awa, for that. And I mean, I think you will just continue to fire on tonight. I know you said a lot about your biggest memories, but now, if a level 1 candidate walk up to you and says, "Where should I put my greatest attention?" What will you say? What should candidates pay attention to in level 1?
So for me, I'd say that as you're doing level 1, I know everybody wants to pass, but I think the greatest attention for you as a CFA candidate is to try and understand the concepts, really try and master the concepts. And I tell people that I'm happy I use the curriculum because it's like a storybook. You know, in class, I remember I hated QM. Sorry, Mr. Lekon and Mr. Ibrahim, but I hated QM. I think I even asked Mr. Ibrahim, will I see you again? Like, is your classes not ending? But then, you know, when I read the curriculum, the way they arranged it now made sense that, okay, first after QM is economics. I started seeing linear regression equation for elasticity. I was like, okay, this is where it applies in fixed income, in portfolio management. I started seeing the concept, everything. So it all ties together. So I'll say that focus on understanding concepts and knowledge, because now that I've enrolled for classes of level 2, it's a building block. That level 1 is a foundation. It's very broad, but you need that knowledge to understand. And if you just read to, you know, pass, and then just once you're done with the exam, if they say, okay, what is income elasticity, and you're like, is that Chinese or Greek, then that's an issue. Level 1 is bulky, but you try and understand the concept. And trust me, I also had that fear of, there's so many formulas. I asked some of my friends, like, how did you do it? It's so many formulas per topic. There was also pay attention to the WhatsApp group chat, guys. If you're in New Frontiers, they share a lot of things there. They share the formula sheet that helped me when I was doing revision to just, you know, brush through that. Okay, I've covered everything. And that thing looked like rocket science. But trust me, if you understand concepts, you try and understand what the formulas are saying, you will just remember what to apply. Because it happened to me in exam hall, and I had to, you know, remember the concept to remember formula. So I'll say that level 1 concept really matters. Don't just read cram formulas to pass. Really understand concepts. Why is so thing like that? And trust me, that memory will stick and help you to other levels.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I mean, I remember hosting me on this program one night where we did a crackdown on QM, because I know again students struggle with concepts like topics like QM. So it was here all night, and one thing he kept saying was, you don't need to cram the formula. That's not the goal of CFA. That's not what they are trying to achieve, right? They're not trying to turn you into rocket scientists or mathematicians, as it were. What they are trying to do, they are introducing a concept to you. And if you can understand this concept, you will be able to build up formulas from there, right? And you see, the CFA journey is actually the CFA charter. Any CFA charter is a journey. It's a continuum. It's not. And that's why I say that even when someone fails the exam, they write it. They never said you failed. You are the one who says you failed. They just say didn't pass. What didn't pass means is that you don't have sufficient information that is enough to cross this level to the next one. And that's why years before now, what they used to do is to put results in bands. So there is fail, and there is pass. In between fail and pass, there is 1 and 10. There is band 1 and 10 to tell you where you lie on the spectrum so that you can see your performance. And I think your results shows that currently, right, in terms of performance. But when you come to New Frontiers, like I always say, you have no reason not to pass. You have no reason not to pass. Have you gone through any kind of emotions? Our has. Have you gone through any kind of emotions, any kind of concerns or worries during school exam? Toby did, right? Unfortunately, I'm unable to get him back on the call. But again, I think pretty much they have covered quite a lot of what we need to talk about tonight. I'm going to ask one more question from Awa, then I'll hope that Toby will be able to join before she's done by then. Having talked about what you should pay attention to in level 1, and I know that the dollar is a big deal right now. I understand that this is not the time to preach for anybody to fail the exams. I mean, you have no reason. You have no reason to fail. If Awa could pass and she understand. I mean, I'm talking about work schedule. I'm talking about the newness of the concepts. I'm talking about how difficult it was. I mean, I've told candidates before, don't say you read QM, you forgot everything. Calm down. It's an holistic program. They didn't teach you QM to come and solve mathematics and punch calculators in the exam hall. No. They taught you QM to show you how to apply it in fixed income. Watch out for that application in fixed income. If you missed it at QM, you will get it in fixed income. If you missed it and the interesting thing is you even talked about Ibrahim and Lekon. I'm sure you'll be meeting Ibrahim right now in your level 2. Ibrahim is right there staring you in the face, right? I mean, because it's a journey, right? And you are there to understand. That's the first thing you need to tell yourself. I am here to understand. I know many of us have, wiggled through and managed getting into systems with the goal of, I just want to pass. There's no doubt about that. It has worked till now. Let me tell you the truth. It has worked up till now. But you see, if you pass level 1, because you can, it's multiple choice questions. By the time you get to level 2, those gaps will begin to show. You don't want them asking you about international trade and you are confused. And somebody mentions it or linear regression in class and you are confused and say, what was that? Or time value of money. And you say, what is that? No. It's going to be a build-up at level 2, right? And at level 3, right? So pursue mastery, pursue understanding. When you write your exam is when you choose to write it, right? And I'm grateful that right now, unlike before when it used to be June and December, candidates have to worry about traveling to Ghana or traveling somewhere else to write the exams. All those are out of the way right now, right? Out of the way right now. You write the exams in your country, you don't incur any flight costs, you don't have to travel and all that, right? Good. So let me take one more question, Awa, and that is, I always ask this deliberately, and that's because if I talk a lot about New Frontiers to people, I work there. I'm happy to work there. I'm excited at the things I do. In fact, I've said it before on this call, let me make this confession again tonight. I don't know whether you guys know, but sometimes I find it very hard to get an entire night of sleep on Friday evenings because I'm excited about getting to school on Saturday morning. That's how much I love going to work on Saturday morning. And I'm excited about one big part for me is my interaction with every candidate. To be sure that they are moving, to be sure that we are adding value to you, to be sure that if anybody has a problem, we can solve those problems on the spot. Yes, do things happen? Yes. But do we, when we hear about them, do we do something about them? Oh yes, we always do, right? And that's important for me. But again, that's me talking about new frontiers. I mean, I wouldn't have said anything less. So I like to ask from someone else and say, okay, what do you think really about new frontiers? What can you describe the role that NF plays in your journey, in your life, in your career journey as a candidate? Are you able to describe, possibly for someone who needs to understand, so that they can get the value? If somebody is not on the same page as yourself and myself right now about new frontiers, and they are in this system, it's probably because they are not getting certain value that is already there. They just are not aware of it. But I'd rather let you speak. How would you describe new frontiers? What would you say about the role that new frontiers plays in your life as a candidate? So let's go.
Thank you so much for that tip. And then one comment I'll make about what you said about concepts and formula. I'm sure some of my classmates, Babajide, they're on this call. And I remember when we started level 2 classes in derivatives, in economics, in PM, when they mentioned some things, and then some of us answer. And then we have some people that we tease that took a break from when they wrote level 1. I don't know if my friend Ajibola is on this call, she'll kill me on Saturday, but we'll tease them that they went on sabbatical. And then when they ask those things and some of us answer, because it's not just because we had written the exam recently, it was because we had taken time to understand those concepts. And there's no way you forget. It wasn't just cramming. And then you can now apply and see, okay, now we're doing evaluation of this. This is why we learned that. This is where it is. So that's key. New frontiers, I had said this at the beginning from my background, like I would always say that it's a family to me. It's a family to me. And you know how a caterpillar morphs and flies off into a butterfly, that stage of transitioning from the caterpillar to the pupa, that was it was like an incubator for us, honestly, just hatching us. Because I know you always said that anything you need to pass that exam, you guys give it to us. It's now left to us to, utilize and then pass. So nobody can actually give you a cheat that, okay, I'm going to give you this and you pass the exam automatically. People can only guide you and then you now take the efforts to go there. But in terms of guidance, in terms of teaching, support, tips, things like this, I know you've had sessions in class where you sit us early in the morning, you sacrifice time, sit us over, this is how you should be answering questions. You set mock tests for us to do online. Some tutors would even set extra classes, at 7 a.m., at 9 p.m. on a Friday, sacrificing time. And all of them were reachable easily. You could WhatsApp. And that community, like you said, that community is key, because you see people solving questions by 3 a.m. on that WhatsApp group chat, people answering each other. I've had people call me at home and I solve and I help them. I've had people, we engage. Okay, what did you do? I've had people that had supported the route in August when I was panicking, and they're like, oh, this is this and that, tips, and together we even had people recommend, okay, this is what happened, this worked for me in the library in Lekki, all those tips. Like, the school exposes you to that, and there's guidance. There's no how you would attend that school online or in person that you don't pick up at least one thing, one benefit. I really have to say it really changed my life, that perspective. You think that you were done with school, friends and everything, but it brings you back. And it's beyond just that. Like I said, it's a family. I've had friends and by the way, you meet people that would impact you work-wise. I've met people that today are my clients. I've met tutors that today, they would guide you into career advancements. There are always people that would send job. You guys also send job openings and try and help out. So New Frontiers, for me, is the biggest part of my CFA journey. I don't think I would ever have done it without you guys guiding and assisting and supporting us. And I'm always grateful for the knowledge. And then whoever speaks to me, if you're doing CFA, even if you don't have a busy schedule, I think you should attend New Frontiers, because it's just, when something is refined already, you can sit and actually read on your own, do things. But just imagine it's like somebody chewing food and just giving you to swallow, really. So that is what they do at that school, truly. So it was a lot. It was, like I said, 70% of the work I had to do for the exam. And then I'm so happy I'm back. I know I even did a video of my feedback, and I said I can't wait to pass level 1 to be with you guys level 2, and I'm thankful for that, and I hope that I can see that again next year regarding my level 3. Thank
You
you.
definitely will. You definitely will. Oh, and don't worry, I'm bringing you back for level 3 to come and share your tips for level 2, right? And you will. So it's fine. And thank you very much for the insights shared tonight. I'm sure our candidates have a lot of questions. I can see one right now in the chat. I'm going to take them very soon. But let's dive. I mean, talking about this review thing, I was reaching out to a candidate just last Saturday morning. I remember a candidate in Canada who were at the point of his registration had reached out to me and all that, and so it just occurred to me that, hey, I need to find out how is he doing, because again, there's this bias of talking to candidates in the physical class. I want to do more deliberately with my guys in the virtual space, especially those in diaspora, and I'm doing my best right now to reach out to them one-on-one long before exams. I say, hey, so I said, hey, how have you been? I'm reading my chat to him, and how have been the classes been, to hope they've been helpful. He says, hey, they are better than the classes in Canada. You teach it very properly. I recommend it to my friends. They charge a whole lot of money here, right? And he says, I'm with a friend who just passed level 1. And right now, the only tough thing is the timing. But again, we are fine. We'll make it work out. He says, you guys do a better job. And this is the line that got me. He says, if I don't pass it after taking your classes, then I shouldn't be writing it. I'm going to make him put this on LinkedIn with his name so that it won't look like I'm reading, so that you will see the disclaimer there. It won't be me, right? It says, if he doesn't pass after taking the classes, then he shouldn't be writing it. There is, and I needed to hear, I needed you to say, because you can be, it is possible. I know very well that it's very possible to be in a system that provides a lot of value, but because you are unaware, you are just benefiting from, okay, I come to class, there's a seat in class, the AC is working, there's parking for my car, and when you are done, you carry your bag and you go. There's a whole lot more to New Frontiers. And that's why, if there's anything that crosses your mind, please reach out. And that's because, like I always say, there's just so much I can do. I mean, there's nothing we can do when you're in that exam hall, right? This is when we can do everything for you. And we can do everything for you, I can assure you, before that exam, right? You have no reasons to fail the exam. Thank you very much, Awa. And I'm going to bring you back to take on these questions that these guys have. But I want to make a quick presentation for about 10 minutes, so I'll allow you grab some water, right? While I do this for about 10 minutes. In another 10 minutes, I'll bring you back up and we'll be able to take the questions and call it a wrap for the evening, right? Thank you very much. So guys, please confirm that you can see, but I can see my screen when I share now, please. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, I think there's a chat. Okay, yes, Nanya says yes. That's one person. I hope, is that all? Can everyone see? Because I want to move fast. You have questions for an hour, and I want her to still respond to very personal questions as well. Okay, thank you. I see about 4, 5 already. Good. So I'm good to go. So once again, welcome. This is New Frontiers Learning Center, right? And we've done all this. We are about to talk about NF and take questions and answers, and we'll call it a wrap tonight. This is Temi Oshin. Temi Oshin was our candidate, level 1, level 2, level 3. She passed at one sitting. Temi is, he says, New Frontier Learning Center is an amazing CFA tutor center. The teachers are highly knowledgeable, accessible, smart, and help you understand the concepts you need to succeed in the CFA exams. If you're looking for a great CFA tutor center either in Nigeria or abroad, in brackets, yes, they offer excellent online classes. She was a virtual student all through. She lived in Canada all through. For level 1, 2, and 3. And this is the place for you. I highly recommend New Frontiers Learning to anyone looking to succeed in their journey. Temi is senior consultant, mergers and acquisition at Deloitte, right? Our story is one that is born out of a compelling desire to help ease the journey of every CFA candidate exam in Nigeria. Our founders went through this journey with little or no support of any kind, right? So, however, they vowed to turn into reality the dreams of every CFA candidate home and abroad, right? And that's the dream of earning the prestigious charter, irrespective of their background. I mean, we have a medical doctor on our faculty, someone who is a charter holder, who teaches, whose background was in medicine, and he teaches at New Frontiers, right? Today, after doing this for about 14 years of pursuing this vision, our market has significantly leapt with the influx of over 3,000 professionals from NF, right, New Frontiers, who are now revolutionaries in the world. We are advising that you join us, right? These are our founders. So we're proud of our founders. Here are they: Ayokunle Ojo, Michael Anyima, Olani Yokunbai, and Banji Faintola. These are the people who founded New Frontiers, made a lot of sacrifices. If you know these guys, they have no reason to run New Frontiers. They have no reason. They've made a life for themselves. They are successful in their careers. They are role models. They are role models for perhaps your role models. And I'm serious about that. I'm not mincing words about what I'm saying. There are possible role models for role models, right? You'll meet some of them, or you'll meet most of them in level 2, right? And of course, level 3, where they will guide you and help you succeed. These are the founders for New Frontiers. Of course, why New Frontiers? One of the biggest things we say is that it's always difficult to find that number of intelligent people in one room at the same time, right? Our world-class faculty of leading investment professionals. We insist on industry professionals. I'm sorry, on industry leaders, rather. Leading investment professionals, industry leaders, right? We have over 13 years, that's 14 of running the CFA program. We're market leaders. We have scholarships that we give, faculty prizes, discounts and special offers, class assignments, monthly tests and mock exams. We have a no pass, no pay policy. Of course, terms and conditions apply to that. And we have candidate support, right? From our mentorship program, I was talking about how we post job opportunities. Because of what we do, people know us. They know the kind of people that we breed. They know the kind of work that we put in people. And so when there's a job opportunity somewhere, we are among the first to know in the market. And we always create those offers for you. And of course, sessions like this as well to support, right? So let's move on. What program fits you? We have a regular program, which is one of our flagship programs. We have a quick review program and an executive program. All our programs run both as live and as self-paced. So whatever program you run, would you join us with, can run as live or as recorded sessions, right? Where you can review what we have. Our regular programs happens for 16 weekends on Friday evenings at 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., just like we're doing tonight, on Saturday and Sunday, and on public holidays, right? From 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., we are in school putting in the work, right? You get lecture notes, there are mock exams and tests. Our candidates have been writing their tests this week. Their first test closed midnight today, right? It's hybrid, physical and online, depending on the choice you want. It's the same experience. There's access to class recordings and community and networking. It's a vast and robust place. I always say that we are probably the only one who offers a mass program, yet a one-on-one consultation at no fee, no additional fee to you. You reach out to our teachers at any time and they will revert to you, right? Of course, we have a quick review program for folks who have been studying and believe that they just need quick wins. They can't make 16 weekends, but quick wins on Saturday, Sunday for 1 month, the month preceding exam, say like April, right? They join us for this exam and they get the same value that we offer. I'll skip the executive program and just go straight to our quick review program for the May exams. Going to happen for April, the whole of April. There'll be live classes, there'll be questions that will be solved, naughty areas will be handled, there'll be quick wins, there'll be tips like I had shared that our faculty will give to you if you join that class. And of course, you have access to those recordings till after your exams, right? At the quick review program. So if you're unable to join the 16-weekend program and you still want to write the May exams, all hope is not lost. You can join our program, the quick review program that is happening in May, and there's tremendous value. We have an early start program for our level 3 guys. Level 3 classes will start in April, right? For the guys who are writing their August exams. So they're in class from April, May, June, and July for the August exams. You can start early. And the way to do that is to register now. Register now. We'll give you access to to our self-paced program, such that by the time you are coming in, and you have access to that for about 135 days, such that by the time you come into the class in April, you have gone through your materials, at least first interaction. right? A lot of candidates are on it right now. And so by the time they join in April rather, for the August exams, that will be their second interaction, right, for the exams. And we are doing all this so that it becomes literally impossible for anybody who comes to New Frontiers to fail. There's no reason not to pass the CFA exams. There is no reason with New Frontiers. There is no reason. And that's why we are making available all these resources. Take advantage of it. People who have shared their stories tonight didn't have the best of conditions, the best of working conditions, the most convenient of time, or it's not like they had all the resources. But again, they just made it work with all the resources that we make available to candidates. Of course, our level 1 and 2 program, if you want to join the regular program that is ongoing right now. It's started already, and the classes are still on, both physical and online. Like I said, it's taught by a world-class faculty of leading industry professionals. We will join a network of leading finance and investment professionals. We have automated mocks. We have weekend sessions. Like I said, our first tests were conducted this week. You can still join the class. So register now and be a part of it. I mean, Great David review. Great David was one of our candidates and said, I started classes at New Frontiers Learning Center in my first year at law school because I wanted to make a switch from law to finance. All the work paid off. And if there's any advice I will give, I will say join New Frontiers Learning today. It can't be simpler than this. He's saying don't struggle. I mean, you can't be paying for exams that cost over ₦1 million, and because of a token for class fees and the tremendous value you get, you are skipping classes and say you want to go and crack the thing on your own. It's penny wise, pounds foolish. Most students have told me they tried studying, it wasn't working. They came to class. After classes, when they go to study, it now begins to make sense what they read on their own, right? So take advantage of this. If you're going to contact us, then these are the numbers to call. Bafemi on 07067278574. Take that again, 07067278574, and Mr. Isiaka on 081-7063-4754, 081-7063-4754. Or visit our website at newfrontierslearning.com and /enroll to enroll today, right? And of course, please follow us on LinkedIn. Search for New Frontiers Learning Center on LinkedIn and you'll find it. And this video is recorded, will be uploaded in less than 24 hours on our YouTube page. When you search for New Frontiers Learning Center, you will find our videos there. We have a lot of resources on YouTube that will also help you. Please subscribe and be a part of this journey, right? Thank you very much. So I hope I didn't lost you there. I will stop sharing at this point. So and I'll bring back our. Okay, so how are you? Can come back on? Good. So guys, it is time to take your question, right? Whether to me or to Awa or to anybody. Are you still there? I need to know that you guys are still there. Are we still there?
Yes, we're here.
Excellent, excellent. Good to know. So let's go. Your questions, please. You can use the raise your hand feature. You'll unmute your mic, or you can unmute your microphone if no one is speaking. But then, before we move on, there is a question in the group, in the chat that I see here. Forgive me. It says, "How do you handle the panic that comes with knowing you are not as strong as you should be on many key areas?"
Okay, so I'll give you a typical example. While I was in India, I was working from Monday to Saturday, and I still had to do my Nigerian work. And India is 4.5 hours away, so sometimes I work till 2 a.m. Indian time. And I noticed that I had not even touched QM, economics, and FSA. FSA, it was just bulky, so I wanted to do it last. It was one of my strong areas. But you know that economics and QM, and then I opened it and I saw that economics had plenty topics, and I just started panicking. You know what? I just calmed down. That you know what? Just calm down. And when you look at the days counting down from 50 something, it became 18. I was like, oh my God, I'm done for. But I just took a breather. I calmed down. And then I called my friends that wrote the exam. And I just said, you know what? I'm thinking of this thing like it's abstract, it's a lot, especially QM. How was it for you in the exam? And they told me, you know, how it was mostly concepts, not all these formulas. Because I remember hypothesis had like 9 steps. And like, how am I going to remember that in exam hall? So I did that. And then I also watched a lot of YouTube videos for shortcuts on formulas, on how to use the calculator is very important. They taught us in class. I got my calculator late, so I didn't participate in that part. So just calm down, speak to maybe a few people that have gone through that, let them explain the experience to you, and then find something that makes you comfortable. For me, I just went and cooked Indomie, came back, ate my Indomie, continued solving because I love food, continue solving. And I never had that panic attack again. Even when I came back to Nigeria about a week, 10 days to my exam, I was on leave. I'll go to the library, I'll calm down, I'll solve everything. I wasn't panicking. I wasn't thinking, oh, there's time is running. I was just paying attention that, okay, have I covered this? And if I feel, have I revised this? So always just remind yourself to calm down now. And like Mr. Ayo had said, if you feel it in QM, you will probably get it in fixed income as long as the base is right. And I will repeat this again. Please attend classes and pay attention in class, because sometimes it's that the voice of that teacher saying that, oh, so thing that comes back to you. And when you're studying, for me, when I was reading, it was like revision. I wasn't starting all from scratch. So it was easier, to process and move on.
Thank you very much, Awa. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, I mean, again, there's no need to panic, right? Especially if you are putting the work. Don't do yourself a disservice on exam day. It's like failing the exams before you fail, actually. So, I mean, there's no need for that. It won't do you any good. It's an holistic program. You'll find it everywhere, right? Just make sure that you have a strategy that works. Start early, right? And maybe cook Indomie like our, or do something that helps you. All right. Thank you very much. Any other question? The floor is open for your questions, guys. Okay, I see there's a message. Did you use the curricula to prepare?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I was saying that I'm a big picture of the CFA curriculum. I know it can be bulky, but then, if you're a fast reader, you might pace yourself. If you're a slow reader, start early. But I'll say, even if you use IFT, Schweizer, Wiley, please go back to the curriculum for revision. It covers everything. I used curriculum. I didn't use any other thing. I attended classes and I read curriculum. The way they structure those topics is very intentional. You need to cover the concepts in QM to understand why it's appearing in economics, in PM, in fixed income down the line. But then I know some people, not everybody has the time to go through everything, but please, even if it's the summary part, do that. And you make sure, the reason why I say curriculum is that you see those LOSs, tick them. When you're done with studying that topic, go back. And if you see anything that looks foreign on that LOS, there's a problem. Go and check out what it is. Just make sure you're comfortable with those things and you're good to go. So the curriculum, the ecosystem, there's a reason why they have everything there. And trust me, you've paid for it already. So why not utilize it? So please try and go through, even if it's brushing through, just make sure you open those textbooks.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I mean, it's what it is, right? Yeah. Thank you very much. A lot of prep providers out there, but if you use anything, make sure you go back to the curriculum. I mean, you don't even go into that exam without having interacted with something like end of chapter questions, the blue boxes, because like the exams are just like those end of chapter questions. Even if it's for nothing, you don't want to get to the exam and start seeing things are appearing strange to you, if you understand what I mean. So you really want to be familiar with the mindset of the creators and the makers of the test themselves, right? You want to do yourself a disservice. Thank you very much for that. Okay, guys. I'm sure I shared a lot of tips. So if you don't have any question, I'm okay. We'll end the night. She has done a lot already. So, but if you have, I would still take it. Just have a few more minutes. I want to wrap this up at 8:00 p.m. tonight. So making sure that we did this for just about 90 minutes. Would that be? Yep. Or something. Or 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour 30, that's 90. Okay, so if you have a question, I'll take it. You can unmute and all right, go ahead, please.
Okay, I was going to add that, apart from also, one thing to note about the curriculum is it makes you comfortable with the language of the CFA people.
Absolutely.
So you get used to the language of how they ask questions, how they set things. Because sometimes they just want to ask you what is ABC, but they'll paint stories around it. But when you're used to that, you already know that this is what it is. And that is key to processing questions quickly in the exam hall.
True. That's key. Thank you very much for that. I mean, you don't want to get to the exam and be seeing something for the first time. That's how to fail. You want to be familiar with the style, That's really it, with the style of the writers of the exams. And where you find that is in the curriculum, right? Omobolaji Balogun says, I find it easy to analyze FSA using Excel. Is that possible during the exam?
Um, no, there's no Excel methodology in the exam. It's
Yeah.
just your calculator and a piece of paper. But rest assured, you would not have.
No,
Trust
you
me,
will
I know
not.
there are some questions in FSA, especially maybe tax carry balance and tax base that you have to be, depreciation. No. The
No.
questions are pretty straightforward. They're
Yeah.
testing your concepts.
Concepts.
I'll say one thing with FSA: know your concepts and
Mhm.
know your US GAAP, your IFRS, and be comfortable with your calculator. I mean, there are
Mhm.
some things like depreciation that you can calculate on your own if you know the formula, but if you know the shortcuts, why waste time? Just punch it in. So I think instead of just focusing on Excel,
Mhm.
focus on being very comfortable with your calculator and understanding concepts.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get that bulky topic in the exam, and
True.
definitely you wouldn't have Excel.
True. I mean, 2 hours 15 for 90 questions, right? 2 hours 15. I mean, it's going to be pretty ridiculous to be. You won't find those kind of questions, to be very honest, and you will see it yourself. People have walked out of that exam and are like, CFA, so this is everything, right? That's really where you want to be.
Honestly,
Okay.
and it helps to also do your mock exam as well. Once you do that mock,
Mhm.
you see that, okay, there's a
Mhm.
bit of difference from the practice questions. I think the practice
Mhm.
questions just wants you to cover everything, to be comfortable with
Mhm.
everything. When it comes to mock, you now see that, okay, it's quite
Mhm.
straightforward. And then
Mhm.
it's mostly concepts, because there are some questions that are too easy, but they are hard. You can
Mhm.
feel it because you never
Mhm.
thought something like that will come out. So also
Mhm.
when you do your mock, you will know what to expect.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that hour. Okay, I'll take a few more questions. 1 or 2. We call it a night. Anybody, everybody. It's been quite an engaging night. I mean, Awa has done a very good job tonight. I really miss Toby. I mean, I really wanted to hear his perspective. I'm sure he's tried his best and just given up on the network. Oh, God. Very interesting. Okay, do I have any questions? Okay, then. So since I don't have any question, it's pretty much, I appreciate the fact that you've given me your time tonight, Sawa. And so for level 1 candidate, what will be your final words?
I think my final word is attend new frontiers and put in the work. Trust me, because if you attend a school like that, like I said, you've done 70% of the work for you, but you have to pay attention to absorb those 70%, get as much tips as possible, put in the work, and do not discard your curriculum. Those LOSs, be comfortable with the language. And when I say put in the work, make sure you cover everything. Do those practice questions, revise everything. Level 1 is mostly on concepts and it's bulky. It's a lot of things. But by the time you master and you go through things, you will be surprised how formulas will just be coming to your head. You have enough time to even revise in the exam hall, that this 2 hours, 15 minutes will even have, it will look like a lot. This 90 questions wouldn't be much. So please and please, you really need to be very, very disciplined and hardworking to be able to scale through this level 1. It's not as hard as we all think. I think the hardest part is putting in that time because of your schedule, putting in that time aside to do the work. So when you do the work, trust me, it would reflect in your results.
Thank you very much for a very wonderful time. And I'm sure that our listeners have gotten tremendous value tonight, right? Thank you so much for agreeing to do this for us and for agreeing to join us tonight. I think, guys, you could. Says, thank you. I was so sad that we would leave this call without hearing Toby's excellent tips. Okay, so I can get Toby back. Again, technology has helped us. I can get Toby to do a recorded version and get it across to you. Or I can get Toby to join me at the next administration administrative what do you call it, admin meeting with you guys and all that. Yeah. Okay, Emily says I think you can send a voice note for us. You guys are used to voice notes. Gen Z voice notes. Don't worry, no problem. I'll get him to do something for you. But I'm sure you got tremendous value from our. Thank you so much tonight. What you've done tonight is masterclass. Is how to get a 99th percentile in your level 1 exam. That's what you've given to us tonight, and I'm personally grateful. I mean, after listening to you, I'm tempted to go write the CFA exams. Right. Right.
Thank you so much for having me too. It's
You're
been
welcome.
a pleasure, and I wish everybody else embarking on level 1 and level 2 all the best. And I can't say this enough. Please go and join New Frontiers.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you so much. So, guys, I'm looking forward to seeing you tonight. I'm just excited to seeing all of you tonight. And you know my questions when I see you in the morning. And for folks who are more virtual, of course, I will keep interacting with you. You are going to succeed. We will pass this exam. You're going to succeed. So it's fine, right? Just keep at it. Just keep at it. Just keep pushing, put in the work, and just start, right? And you're going to have a very good time. Okay, you're welcome. Abisoye says, thanks so much. Our Ayomide says, thanks for igniting our hope. Our thank you. Omobolaji says, thank you so much. Our right. All right. Good night, everyone. And thank you for being amazing, being an amazing audience tonight.
Thank you,
We'll see you
everyone.
some other
Good
time.
night.
Welcome. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you,
Good night.
Ayo. Thank you, Awa.
You're
Good
welcome.
night.
Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you. Good night.
For the CFA exams in Nigeria, our founders went through their CFA journey with little or no support of any kind. However, they vowed to turn into reality the dream of every CFA candidate earning the CFA charter, irrespective of their backgrounds, finance and non-finance alike. It is this commitment to support our candidates that influences our engagement of a world-class faculty, partnerships, scholarship and discount offers, our online learning management system, and so much more. Our clients' outstanding results across all levels of the exams every year attest to the quality of our top-notch physical and online program in the last 10 years. That's right, we have been impacting the industry for 10 years and have supported about 2,500 professionals in that time space. Register with New Frontiers Learning today.